This is Served with me, Andy Roddick. Please hit subscribe. We drop new episodes every week. Hey everyone, welcome back to Served. As promised, your 2026 Roland Garros champion Mirra Andreeva is joining the show. Mirra, are you finally getting a little bit of rest?
Yes, I am getting a little bit of rest. I've actually had some time after Wimbledon. I didn't play tennis for 11 days to be exact. I just, took some time to recharge, spend some time with my family, and now I started practicing again, and soon we're going to leave to Toronto.
And I know the focus with players is kind of always forward thinking, and I'm assuming the space between winning your first Grand Slam at Roland Garros, which was so much fun to watch, and then Wimbledon coming right away. Did it feel a little bit rushed? Did you have enough time for it to actually sink in before your focus kind of had to go towards the grass?
Well, honestly, if it would be up to me, I would probably ask for a little bit more time. I think Paris and London, they're so close to each other that I only had 4 days off, and then I had to, start practicing on grass again. Like, I think I would take maybe a week just, to, I don't know, not do anything, not practice, not think about tennis. But it is what it is. That's the schedule. And honestly, I was actually pretty excited to start practicing on grass as well. So, if you ask me, I wouldn't complain about that also.
Yes, I guess that's a good problem to have. I guess in general, I guess where I was going with it is, post Wimbledon, you feel like you've kind of had some space to kind of think through Roland Garros. What are your kind of memories now that you're, 2 months removed from, kind of the ultimate goal, I'm assuming?
Well, the only thing I remember is so many emotions that I've experienced throughout the 2 weeks, not just the final match, because I was so nervous playing basically every single match that I was playing there. Starting from the round one. But I just remembered that I was playing good. I was, very kind of self-supportive in a way, because that's what I'm working towards. And I think that, those 2 weeks showed me that if I put my mind into the right space, then it's gonna work. And I don't know, I just remember so many emotions of, I don't know, relief, happiness, excitement, euphoria, adrenaline, like so many at once, that I just really wanna try and experience that again.
Are you someone who pays a lot of attention to what else is going on during that tournament? Because it felt like, the third or fourth day, everything just started going crazy. On the men's side with Sinner, and then on the women's side, you start seeing Sabalenka go, and you see Iga go, and you see these names fall, and then all of a sudden, eyes are on you, and you're the favorite. Is that something that kind of adds maybe pressure or a different emotional set than usual?
Yes, I would say that added a little bit of pressure on me because obviously I didn't expect Aryna to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching that match as well. I watch a lot of tennis. Even when I'm playing, I watch women, I watch men, everything. So I follow. And obviously I saw what happened with Jannik. I saw what happened with Aryna, with Iga, with Rybakina as well.
Mm-hmm.
I saw so many top seeds fall. And then after when Aryna lost as well, I'm like, well, this is interesting. And then after, of course, I started to, be a little bit more nervous. I felt like I had a little bit more pressure, but then at the same time, I just tried to talk to Conchita, try to talk to my psychologist, not to think about that, just try to focus on what I've been doing. And I guess it worked, but yes, that added extra pressure on me.
Yeah, it was I was looking back, and we were trying to kind of come up with an example where someone who's a first-time Grand Slam finalist is as overwhelming of a favorite as you were. And I was talking with our team. I said, that is not an easy scenario to deal with either. Sometimes it's almost easier when, there's an established name on the other side. But Hwalinska was such a great story during Roland Garros, and you had to be the one to end it, right? You had to go in knowing that this was a real opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, because I saw her play throughout the whole tournament. I actually was following a little bit because in the first round she beat Qinwen Zhang. Also, she's been
Mm-hmm.
a top 10 player, and She had some great results in the beginning of the tournament, so I already knew that, she was playing well. She passed the quali, so obviously I watched a little bit of her game. And then after, I agree that maybe it would be mentally a little bit more easier if I would play against, a top seed, just, to kind of have less expectations. But at the same time, I was telling myself that she's, also not an easy opponent because she's played so many matches. And that also helped me to try not to, overthink and put extra pressure on myself.
I'm endlessly fascinated because obviously I'm a huge fan of your game. You've been a massive prospect in tennis for a while now. But also it's impossible to turn the channel, whether it's a post-match or post-tournament speech, whether you give an interview, you always have something kind of interesting and different to say. The thank me speeches, is it something you think about, or do you kind of just shoot from the hip when you're in these scenarios?
Well, honestly, as I said, the first time I said it, I won the 60K in Israel. It's been 4 years ago, and I just had a bet with my coach that, we're just laughing on that Snoop Dogg interview when he said that. And I was like, okay, if I win the tournament, I'm saying it. He's like, no, you're not going to do it. You're you're just going to go away. You're not going to say it actually in front of all of those people. And then after, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And then I won, and then I did it. He was embarrassed a little bit, I would say. But then after, I kind of decided that, every time that I'm gonna win, maybe that's what I'm gonna say. And then the first WTA tournament that I won 2 years ago, I decided to say it as well. And then, first few times there were not a lot of people to actually, get it famous and get it online on the internet. And then after, when I won my first 1000 tournament, it started to get viral. And then the more I won, the more I said it. And now it's kind of like a little trademark, I would say.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you say your inspiration for this was Snoop Dogg?
That's right.
Can you explain that for our listeners who don't understand the connection, please? And producer Mike, because he has no idea what you're talking about.
Stop.
Well, it's very, very simple. We just saw an online video of Snoop Dogg doing a speech. I guess it was an award that he won or something. And he just said, last but not least, I want to thank me. And that famous song of his plays on the background. And he just started saying, I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for never taking days off and all of that stuff. And I just play around with, the words in the end a little bit, what I want to actually thank myself for, not use everything that he said, obviously. And that's it, basically.
I love it because I think paying the respects to the team is great, and we also expect it at this point. So listen, I know it's coming at this point, and I still never turn the channel because I think it's awesome, hilarious, and I think it's completely differentiated. So please never stop being you, and never stop thanking yourself for the tennis fans. Anyways, the other thing that I always admire, and you get some criticism for it, and I don't like it, is you're honest, right? So the same with the speeches and the viral, and we all love that, but then we want to really, really have something to criticize. And when you go nuts, whether it's Indian Wells or whether it's different moments, we all kind of clutch our pearls. I can't do it because I'm on record as breaking stuff too much on a tennis court. But how do you kind of value the feedback when you get criticized for, maybe breaking something or saying something that you maybe shouldn't?
Yeah, I would say overall, I'm an emotional person. If I win, I get super excited, very happy. If I have a good mood, I would just dance around, annoy my team, poke everyone around. If I have a bad mood, I'm not talking. I smash the balls, I hit my rackets, I hit myself, like it's basically from point A to point B, like there is such a huge difference. And I feel like, people like to talk, and whenever something is going not very good, they obviously will talk about it, and that's okay because I guess that's what people do. And obviously some moments that I'm not very proud of, as we're playing on bigger stages, obviously it's going to go viral, obviously people are going to talk about it. And I guess I've learned that there is no escape. basically is just gonna get online one day somehow. As your good moments go online, also your bad moments will go online, and I think a lot of players have that as well. I don't know. I try to kind of, I don't know, obviously get away from that and, fix it, improve, change, work on it, la la, la, all that stuff. But obviously sometimes it's just not very easy, but I'm still trying to improve and work on it. And if it goes online, it's okay, I guess. There's nothing I can do about it.
It's weird because I always have these conversations with people, and it seems like everyone wants players to be like a Roger or a Sampras or like someone who's kind of always seemingly in control. And I always make the point, if McEnroe would have behaved himself, I don't know that he would have been as good. Like, so how do you kind of, when you're working on this, how much of the conversation is about don't do this versus do it, get it out of your system, and then maybe move into a more positive space?
I would say that for me, focusing on don't do it doesn't really work, because when I think of don't, your brain, my brain personally, thinks of you have to do it. Like, this is what you have to do right now. So when I really try to kind of let myself, let it out, scream, I don't know, break a racket, smash the ball, and then after it's just kind of, it's just easier to play. Like, the glass gets full of water and then after it explodes and then you just feel easier. So for me, I feel like it's important to let it all out, but, not to kind of focus on letting it all out for a couple of points or a couple of games. Like, you let it out, but next point, you're there 100%.
Talk about, because I remember watching Conchita play. I remember watching the final when she won Wimbledon and she hit 8 million passing shots that day against Martinez. It was amazing. But she was someone who you didn't really have to wonder what she was thinking when she was playing. She wasn't one of these players who didn't let you in emotionally. You could see if she was having a good day, if she was having a bad day. How important is it for you to have someone who also kind of had that personality where they had to kind of, I guess, navigate the ebbs and flow of emotion? And is she understanding of your personality?
I honestly didn't know that she was kind of emotional when she was playing. That's good to have a conversation with her about that, because she never told
she wasn't like as bad as like me, but she would slam a ball. She wasn't, you didn't have to wonder where she was at.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that with her when we get to Toronto. That would be an interesting conversation. But honestly, I would say that we talk a lot about her experience, about the way that she used to play, how she handled pressure, how she handled her emotions. Then, she tries to give me advices on maybe try to do this, try to do that. Obviously, they also try to work together with my psychologist to kind of have that, teamwork, to not say different things, but, to focus on one direction and help me with that. But I think that it's important that she's been through that. She understands what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, whether it's a first round when I defend points or whether it's my first final of a Grand Slam. She's been there everywhere, every single tournament, every single stage of her career. So I think that for me, it's just super special that, she's there for me and she understands it, and then she's just there to try and help me with that.
How important was it for you when you were kind of looking to hire a coach, that coach have the pedigree that you were talking about? She was top 10 for a decade, top 5, and won a bunch of Fed Cups and obviously won Wimbledon. And how important was it for you to want someone with that pedigree? And also, does that matter because they don't really have to agree with you all the time because they actually have those accomplishments?
Yeah, well, when I was talking with my agent, I said that I really wanted a coach that, used to play. So either an ex-player, doesn't have to be like top 10 Grand Slam champion, just, that a coach knows how to play tennis. And also I need a coach that is not going to say, oh my God, Mirra, you're doing so good, you're great. Like, I need a coach that, if I'm not moving my legs, my coach is going to say, you're not moving your legs, like move your ass and just do something. I don't want a coach to just, say all of those supportive and nice words to me, because I can do that myself, no problem. So when, we were talking about this, I was thinking to work with a lot of ex-players, but obviously now all of them, they have families, they have kids, and a lot of them were not available. But then after he was in India and was in 2024, and then after he asked me, do you know Conchita? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, she was an ex-player. Yes, I haven't seen her play. And that's when it all started. And then that's when, we tried to, spend some days together. I think it was 4 days. And then we went to a tournament in France after my wrist injury. And since then, I just felt like, that's the right person. I would say that I felt like she was the right person maybe after 2 days of practice. I felt like, the match, the click, and I was like, okay, we're going on a tournament and then we'll see how it goes. And you see, since then, it's working great.
I was reading back the transcript from after you won in Roland Garros. And the thing that struck me about it, and I've done the same thing in this interview, is so much of the conversation is about personality. It's about emotions. It's about whatever. Not a single question in your post-match press conference was about your actual game and, forehands and backhands and serves and volleys. So what is the next version of your game? What do you still feel like you have to improve past, kind of the mental side and kind of navigating those things as you grow as a player and a person?
I would really want to improve my volleys. That's why I'm trying to play more doubles. That's why, I'm trying to do that more on a singles matches as well, to force myself to just, go there and just see how it goes. I wouldn't say that I'm super bad, but it's just, the lack of confidence. And sometimes, I let myself, okay, just do this. I just go maybe serve and volley once, and then we'll see how it goes. And sometimes I do this, it's successful. Sometimes it's not, but that's the part of the game that I would really want to try to improve and, finish more points at the net, being a little bit more aggressive, because I would say that my game style is still maybe a little bit more on the defensive side. And then, I can, if the opportunity is there, I can try to step in and be a little bit more aggressive. But I would say that, to use more opportunities to just go inside of the court, finish the point at the net, or have a bigger serve, that would be great as well.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I watched last year when you went on your run in the Middle East and you won some big tournaments there. I came on this show and I said, I've watched Mirra probably 5 times over the last 2 weeks. Your serve is great though. Like it's, I mean, I'm sure it has room for improvement, but I came on, it was a year and a half ago, and I came on and I said, why do we not talk about her serve more as a real strength? Is that something that you kind of continually work on? Because, for my money, when it's going well, it's one of the best in the game. Do you feel that way?
Yes, but basically it also depends on the day. Sometimes, I'm there playing a match and I just feel like I'm not going to lose any point in my serve. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's impossible. But sometimes there are days where, for some reason, there's just not enough confidence, and there are double faults and there are shanks and everything. But I'm working towards serving like you. When you serve that ball into the court and it stayed inside of the clay court, I saw that, and I really, I'm trying to work towards that. That's my goal.
I know. Here, what's coming, right, Sean?
Oh no.
So that Mirra, what you just referenced, is fake. Yeah, the ball didn't get stuck. It was a commercial.
Mirra,
I know.
You're not the first, Mirra.
I know. And now
Sean
I had to keep a secret
too.
for a long time. No, listen. So it was a commercial. They cut the top off. And then it wasn't even clay. They just painted orange, and then they put makeup around it. And it was a commercial.
Oh my God, you just ruined everything for me.
I know. That's why I started shaking my head when you said it, because I don't want to be the benefactor of just fake news. It just
dreams crushed.
I'm a little bit disappointed. To be honest,
too.
But okay, it's the truth, I guess. But
yeah,
wow,
I should trust me. If we would have said that in private, I wouldn't have told you. But people watch this, so it would have been like you're lying to me. One other thing I'm very curious about, because I had an older brother who played tennis, not as good as your older sister. He wasn't on the pro tour, but he was top 2-3 in the world in juniors and played junior Grand Slams and everything else. To me, it helped because when I went to these tournaments, I had actually seen him before. Right, maybe the age difference isn't enough with the two of you, but has there been a benefit from having an older sister and kind of seeing maybe her progress a couple years ahead of you sometimes? What are the positives and what are the negatives from having a sibling also on tour?
Well, I would start with I think we have so many positives because obviously she's the one that started playing first. She's played so many tournaments that I didn't have to play when I was starting playing. And I think that she basically went and played almost every single tournament in juniors, like Tennis Europe, ITFs, everything. And I basically I didn't play a lot of juniors. I skipped maybe a year or two in juniors, and then there was an opportunity for me to get a wild card. I got a wild card, and then that's how it started. With her, I just feel a little bit guilty in a way that she had to go through it first, because I feel like if maybe I would have gone through it first, things would have been different. But without her, I don't think that I would be here right now, because she's just kind of how do people say it? Paved the way, or
Yeah.
what is the word? Yeah. So she was basically kind of a light in the tunnel that I was just following, and didn't have to play all of those unnecessary tournaments and spend all of my unnecessary energy on some certain things. But a negative side to that is when you have to play against each other, it's like the nightmare. It's the worst thing in the world. We've played twice against each other, and those are the two worst days of my life.
Really?
So much pressure, so much nerves. Like she doesn't know about this, but when we first played in Wuhan against each other in 2024, we always share a room together when we were in a tournament. So we were sharing a room together, and for both of us, we were like, well, it's gonna be stupid if if the night before the match we just go and sleep in different rooms. Because what does it change? We always sleep together. We had breakfast together every day. Okay, now we're opponents, but we're still sisters outside of the court. So we didn't change that. And I just remember that she went to sleep first, but I was so nervous that I was crying a little bit before the match, because so many nerves, like so many emotions. I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't bear it inside. And actually, I don't think I've told anyone about this, but you see, exclusive. And yeah, and yeah, we played in the night, so we basically had to spend almost the whole day together, which was not pleasant. Like, we were both nervous. We were not talking a lot. Then I had a talk with psychologist the night before. She tried to tell me, you're not playing against Erica, you're playing against Akira. I'm like, well,
that's impossible.
That's still, like, when you play against your sister, that doesn't really work. I tried to focus on that, and I talked to Conchita and all of that. It didn't really help. Also, one funny thing, because our parents were there, my mom didn't go on the match. She stayed in the room. And my dad, as we were warming up, the stadium was empty, but then people started to come, because I think it was like 10 p.m. And I see, as we were warming up, I see my dad just climbing the tribunes, and he's going like this higher and higher and higher, and like to the top of the tribune right there. And for me, it was just a little bit funny, but yeah, the nerves and everything, the emotions, it was the worst feeling ever.
Does it give you do you feel like you can relate a little bit to, I always think to like Venus and Serena and what they had to go through, and they were playing in like Grand Slam finals, like a Wimbledon final. Does it make you kind of view what they had to go through differently, since you've had to kind of do it on maybe a little bit of a smaller scale with your sister?
Yes, honestly, I have no idea how they did that, playing against each other, like, like your real opponents. in the final of a Grand Slam, you know, trying not to think, I don't know what they did. Did they try not to think that it's your sister? Did they, you know, kind of, I don't know, turned off their mind and just played against the ball? I don't know what they did, but for me, that would be like an extra hard task to complete. And I would say that it's pretty much the same. Obviously, it's not a final of a Grand Slam, but I feel like maybe it would be kind of easier to play in a final of a Grand Slam because you would win anyway. Like, I would be
That's
so
interesting.
happy if she would win a Grand Slam. Obviously, I would be sad if I would lose in the final of a Grand Slam, but at the same time, I would be so happy for her. Like, genuinely happy, because she is the person that I care about the most in this world. And if she wins a Grand Slam, beating me in the final, I would be extremely happy for her. But when we meet each other in the beginning of the tournament, it's like a lose-lose situation. You beat your sister, she loses, and then after like all of those emotions just in the beginning of the tournament, like, and you advance to the round of 16, like, okay, well, I don't know. So if it would be up to me, of course, I would choose to play in the final of a Grand Slam one day if that will be possible. But still, it would be like, I don't know, so many emotions that we'll probably both experience. But I hope the time would come and we will see how we will both handle that.
Stay in a different room. I'll tell you that much.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will. We'll see.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of you in your game. I don't want any outside noise to ever affect the way you are with your personality. In tennis, we need big personalities. We need people driving the sport. We need people to be different. So I hope and implore you to adjust, but never change the way you are. I think it's so much fun watching you. That's just from an old dude who used to play. So I hope you do that. I hope you kind of keep enjoying it, even in the rough moments. Don't get me in too much trouble with Conchita for telling you that she used to get a little pissed on court also. So maybe just
we'll see. We'll see about that.
Okay. Perfect. But all the best.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on a first of many Grand Slam titles, hopefully, and good luck this summer. And we'll see you kind of on the road to New York. But congratulations. We're fans of you at this show, and
thank you for having me.
Come back and see us anytime. Thanks, Mirra.
Thank you.